Hello everyone, it's another beautiful time on the program, Hi Woman, coming to you from New Frontiers Television. Just in case it is your first time of tuning in, this is a platform where we discuss and trash out every women-related issues, anything that pertains to womanhood. This is where we bring up discussion around it, talking about health, economy, politics, and how it affects the livelihood of every woman. So this is a program where we discuss women-related issues, just in case you are just tuning in. And my name is Temitope Oladipo, your host on the show. Yes, every March 8 has been set aside by the United Nations to be the International Women's Day. It's a day that set aside to look at the challenges that women or the female gender are facing in the society, and also to celebrate the excellence and the contribution of women towards the development of their society. And this year, 2024, comes with a theme, inclusion, inspire inclusion. Oftentimes, as women, we've been clamoring for more women in politics, more women in power. And it seems that we haven't gotten there yet. So hence why this theme is coming up again, for more inclusion for women in all spheres of economy. So that is what we'll be discussing on the program tonight on the show. Joining me in this discussion is Omolewa Osadola. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that. Oshadola. If I didn't pronounce that word very well. She is a multifaceted professional known for her expertise as a freelancer, a content creator, and also an academic research assistant. It's good to have Omolewa on the show with me tonight. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes, let's start by first asking ourselves what has been, from your own personal view, what would you say has been the ratio? Let's say, how would you rate women involvement or women inclusion, at least in the past, for the past few years? It is believed that things have changed. The society is also evolving around. So nothing has stopped. The world is dynamic and we are moving. So, but from your personal view, what would you say? Or how would you rate women's involvement in politics, in economy? Has anything really changed?
Okay. You said that things have changed.
Yeah.
It is true. Things have changed, but we can do better. The ratio is very, very low. Although we are trying our best, we have women doing well in all walks of life, in all spheres of life, but the representation is very, very low. Especially in the political setting. We have more men than women, even in their political careers. Now, for example, I mentioned 3 women ministers, just 3 out of 45. So are we saying that we do not have women that can be in position of power? What happened to educated women? What happened to our professors? What happens to our doctors? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So what happened to our doctors that we cannot fix them? We have a lot of women who have that ambition, but it's so sad. It is very, very sad that we just have a very few of them. Even in the National Assembly, we have just few women who are senators. Yeah. We have few who are in the House of Representatives. So, in my own opinion, I feel that we still need to do better.
The ratio is still very low.
The ratio is very low, and we really need to do better. And our best is not good enough. We are trying, but we need to work harder to ensure that we have more women in the political sphere. And not only that, we need to have more women in top echelon positions too. There should be a gender parity. There should be a gender parity. Not that, oh, this is a patriarchal society where you can fix men here, fix men here. We have women too who are capable. What a man can do, we say.
So are you sure it's not a patriarchal society we are?
This is a patriarchal society. That is why we need to fix that. And we need to make that an illusion. We need to change the narrative.
Okay. Now, in changing the narrative, I think it still boils down to the fact that we women ourselves have to appreciate ourselves. Okay. Now, for instance, up the here we're talking about women supporting women. Yes. And this thing, for me, it's not working. Because last general election, I think we have a female contestant. Now, when the results came out, I was wondering, perhaps at least some women would have voted for her. If women now refuse to vote for her, what happened to our own family members? What happened to people in our cycle? You won't imagine that the vote that was counted against her was just like 2 or 3. So it brings me to the question that, so what happened to that tag women, supporting women, that every day that we celebrate International Women's Day, we go around, carry placards, organize seminars, workshop on how to empower women, women motivating women. So what happened to all of that?
Women are not supporting women. Although we say women support yourself, if you are vying for a post, I'm a woman,
yeah.
But we are not supporting ourselves. Most women will rather vote or support a man vying for a political post or just any post or any leadership post than women. Why? They believe that women have a lot to do when it comes to home. You know, we are homemakers, yeah. And it is quite difficult for us to balance our career and at the same time be a good wife, be a good mother to our children. That is why I said they believe this is a patriarchal society. When it comes to national development, when it comes to good governance, let's allow men do it. Because, let's fix women at home. The narrative should change.
They belong to the other room.
They belong to the other room. The narrative should change. Because we have women who are doing fine in their careers, and they are also mothers, they are also wives, and heaven did not fall. So I believe it's high time we start supporting our gender. A lot of women do not believe. They say, she's a woman.
And that is not coming from a woman.
That sexist language needs to be brought. We need to bring it down. The fact that she's a woman. So it starts from me. It starts from you. Even in any post, in any leadership post, no matter how small, it is high time we supported ourselves.
Yes, you know, the statement you make that it's a woman thing. I remember there was a day when I was still learning how to drive.
Okay.
And a man just drove by. Oh, no wonder she's a woman. I was like, okay, so women are not supposed to be on the road driving or what?
You see, there are some statements that can weigh you down as a woman. And it has a lot to do in your life. That is why it is very important that some sexist language, we need to just shelve it. For example, if I tell you that I have a friend that is a nurse, what comes to your mind is she's a woman. Who told you that a man cannot be a nurse? But whereas if I say that, that's my soldier friend, you will say, okay, you think that, you process it that it's a man.
Stay with us. I still have with me Omolewa in the studio as we are looking at the theme for this year, International Women's Day, that is Inspire Inclusion. And we've talked about what has been happening, particularly in the terrain of Nigeria, and how women have been involved in politics and being in the position of power. And we also talk about this tag of women helping women. Has it ever been working? Because looking at what is happening in the society, it has never worked. It is not working. That is when we have women going against women, when we are still saying women supporting women. But looking at this particular theme for this year, International Women's Day, which is Inspire for Inclusion, let's talk about what we as women need, some qualities that we need to possess. Because filling up the space, occupying the space also requires we also coming up with something. What are we bringing on board? What do we need to do to ensure that on our own part now, what do we need to do to ensure that we have more women in the position of power?
The first thing is have that leadership spirit. You need to be competent. You need to be confident. So it's one thing to clamor for women inclusion. It's another thing for us to say, can we do it? When I attain the position of power, can I do well? Can I fix things? So it starts from ourselves. We need to have that leadership spirit. If you do not have that leadership spirit, so when you get to that position, how can you scale through? So you have that leadership spirit, and it comes to education. When we talk about women inclusion, I say that women, girl child, needs to be educated. Yeah, so for instance now, yes, the importance of education cannot be overemphasized. We have a number of out-of-school children now, especially girls. Let me cite an example. Was it 2 weeks ago? I saw a girl around, just a teenager around my area. She's supposed to be in school. So I asked her that, are you not in school again? She said she's not going to school again. Why? She said her parents cannot afford it. But your parents can afford that of your younger brother. And you, because you are a girl, they say, oh, one should stay at home. And it is the girl that should stay at home. So education is very, very important, especially for our girl child. Education makes you question a lot of things. It enhances confidence in you. And when you are educated, you see a lot of things that, okay, I need to fix this, I need to fix that. But if you are not educated, if you do not go to school, how will you have, there won't be visibility. So education is important. If you want to attain that leadership, it starts from the bottom. Let us clamor for education. Our girl child needs to be educated so that they can be confident, so that they can face their counterparts
Are we looking at the
internationally.
formal education now? That the formal education, education can be in different form. We have both the formal and the informal. The informal is where you can just go acquire some skills.
Both are very, very important. For instance, you cannot compare a photographer that is not educated, that has that skill, with someone that is educated. Do you agree with me?
Okay.
You know, when you go to school, it instills that confidence, it instills that pride in you, and that makes you scale through. That's why education is very important. So both informal and formal education, they are important.
Okay. So education is one, which will give us this leadership spirit.
Leadership spirit.
So aside that, are you saying the issue of she doesn't have a husband, she had issue with marriage, and how are you bringing such person to come and lead us? And we are women, we have children, we have husband. You know, sometimes people bring marital issues.
In my own opinion, your personal life has nothing to do with leadership. In my own opinion.
Okay.
For instance, in political settings, your personal life has no. Is it your fault?
You know, some women have been thrown out because of marital issues. That
And that's why we need to fight it. Is it okay? Is it important? Is okay? Marriage is important, but it's not everybody
that's going to get
married. So we should not use that as a yardstick for political or academic career or in all spheres of life. Or maybe you're vying for a position and say, she's a single mother. Oh, she's not married. Oh, she's a divorcee. It is not her fault. And as a matter of fact, this is 21st century. We see women that have chosen not to get married. So that marital issue should be put aside. You can be a single woman and you thrive in wherever you are, in your position.
Okay. Now, earlier we talked about this society being patriarchal, and it also comes down to the fact of it boils down to our culture. Our culture has, to some extent, relegated women. Now, take for instance, when a family gave birth to a child that is a male child, you see the glamour, you see the mood, but unlike when it's a female child. There is this particular advert.
ZMTN.
I think I can't remember whether
that says "Na boy born."
Imagine
I think they had to change it so it don't go no.
But seriously speaking, it's still playing out in the society today. So I think where should we take the campaign to, or how should the campaign start? Now the campaign theme is inspire inclusion. Where should we begin? Should we go back to the roots? Where should we go back to our culture? I think there is a lot to change. Fine, they say culture is a way of life, but I think the roots needs to also, there is a need for us to go to the roots and fix what needs to be fixed.
Our culture is very, very important. Like I always tell people that I am an African woman, but at the same time, there are some aspects of our culture that needs to be scrapped, especially those ones that do not advocate for gender parity. You notice that in Africa, we celebrate men. But when it is women, we are silent. So that aspect of our culture We need to water it down. We need to scrap it. So that will bring equality between the man, between the woman, and that is when more women can also come out. So we should have campaigns, initiatives, you know, we have them already, but we need more. We have them already, but we need more so that there will be a gender equality between a man and a woman. And this, our society, like I said earlier, they still call it a patriarchal society.
Sorry, and I think it's also important for us to reiterate that this gender equality we are talking about is not to rub shoulders with the male gender. I think it's about fairness.
It's fairness, yes.
But you know, the men's folk, they take it that, oh, they want to foot the bill, they want to rub shoulder with us. So that conversation has been on for a while.
It is not competition. We don't have to compete it to ourselves. Like you said, when we talk of gender equality, why we mention women is because in this part of the country, we are vulnerable. So when we talk of gender equality, it is also for the man, for the woman. But in this our society, this is a patriarchal society where women do not have a say. And that is why we clamor for that gender equality specifically for the women.
Okay, now we're having a conversation about the issue of culture. Now, that's sorted. Now, if we are now saying that we are inspiring for inclusion, more women in politics, more women in power, then who plays what roles? Now, let's talk about what roles we women ourselves needs to play. What is the role of the government? What is the role of the society? What is the role of the male gender? Because everybody, all hands must be on deck to ensure that we have more women occupying sensitive position in the society. So what are the roles that everybody needs to play?
Okay, let me start with the government. The government should make sure that there is inclusion. For instance, in political setting, there should be a parity. No excuses. We mentioned earlier about senators, just 3 senators, and for the House of Representatives, the ratio is very, very low. So it starts from the government. That one. Then we should have campaigns geared towards women rights, and it should cut across all walks of life, all spheres of life. That's 2. Then number 3, we should end gender violence, sexual abuse. So we should also, that is very, very important, sexual harassment. That's why I said women are vulnerable in this society. Now, coming to the men too, it's also the same thing. You should also recognize the role of a woman. The role of a woman is not limited to, oh, just cook for me, raise the kids. We can do better, and we are doing better. But it's just that our best is not enough. So it's not like the gender equality, we are competing and the man is saying no and the woman is saying no. We need to understand the importance of gender equality. And coming to women, we need to support ourselves. We need to believe in ourselves. If I tell you I want to vie for the lowest position, will you vote for me? Do you believe in me? So even if I have the confidence, even if I have the skills, what about the women around me? Will they be snitches? Will they be double dealers? So we need to believe in ourselves. Like you said, all hands has to be on deck. If not, this society will continue to be, it is men's world, it is men's world, it's a patriarchal society. And we may not achieve this gender equality. It will only be just words of mouth. So I believe it's time to take action.
So do you see any limitations, like obstacles to everything we've been saying? Like, are there some kind of impediment to the realization of we having more women, inclusiveness for women in all spheres of life? Do you see any impediments?
One impediment that I see is the role of a woman at home. Trust me, it is not difficult. It is quite difficult for you to maintain your house as a homemaker, and at the same time, you are outside as a career woman. there should be a balance.
You're speaking from experience, right?
I know what I'm saying. A lot of women have, it is draining. It is draining. So men should be supportive. Men should support their women in such that we own these children, we own this home. So let us build together. And that's when we build together, that's when she will also have a time. So we need to strike a balance. But I want you to know that it is not easy. It has never been easy. But then we just have to keep our head up. We just have to believe. We just have to. We can't say because it's not easy and we will not achieve what we want to achieve. We can't say, oh, it's not easy. It's not easy. Then let me sit at home and be taking care of my children. Imagine you're not doing anything. Your brain will be redundant. There are a lot of women that are talented. There are a lot of women that they have leadership spirits. That when they speak, you know that this person can do better. But because of marital life, because I need to take care of my children, I don't want my children to be out. I need to take. So this has been a challenge towards achieving gender equality and gender inclusion.
Okay, let's it's an example you are familiar with.
Okay.
This issue of the minister, the suspended minister for humanitarian affairs and poverty alleviation. That's Dr. Betta Edu. And the case, well, I saw some truths. That, oh, now they said we should give women power, see what women are doing. They said we should give women position, see what they are doing with public funds. And she's not the only first female that would have come into the limelight, particularly in a bad light, as it were. Now we've seen quite a number of women to. Aren't you seeing it as an avenue for government, or let's say society, to turn their back against women when it's come to agitating for them to have more positions at the corridor of power?
Okay, misappropriation of funds, embezzlement of funds, it's a no. Whether for the women, for the men, for the women. So the issue is, as a minister, whether you are a man or woman, no one would support corruption. No one will support embezzlement of funds. But I noticed that when it comes to women related to this issue, everyone, it becomes the talk of the town. Everyone talk about it. Even you, a woman. So are you saying that it is the men that should also do that? So I believe that whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, the penalty should be given. It should be the same. And I believe that anyone found guilty, whether you're a man or woman, should not go with impunity. Yes. So should not go with impunity. So whether it's not that, okay, because she's a woman. No. But let us just say, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, anyone found guilty, the punishment should be the same. Let's be fair. But no one will support corruption. It's normal. No one will support that. But let's just be fair. Not that because it's because she is a woman, you tend to just relieve her, and when it comes to the man, you just tamper. No, there should be, the penalty should be the same. Anyone found guilty, that is when the government is fair.
Now, Omala, let me quickly pick one of your points you raised when we were talking about how women can strike a balance between career, homes, and the likes, and talking about men supporting women, raising her home together. You know, oftentimes when you see a woman reaching the zenith of career, the pinnacle of her career, there is this feeling of men that, oh, she's getting more money, she's doing this, she's doing that. How possibly can we rub their ego so that they will not feel as if, oh, because you are the one making the big money there, you are making more money here, hence why you think I should be your houseboy or something. I think there should be a way to go about that, so that the men will not be threatened, like, oh, because you are making it career-wise, so they are feeling like, oh, because I'm supporting her, hence why she's moving so fast. You know, we have some men like that.
If your wife is,
but I think that's the way you can rub their ego and let them be on the same page with you.
If your wife is doing better, it is a plus to you.
Some men don't say that way.
You should be happy. You should be proud of her. So if your woman is doing better in her career, it should be a thing of joy. But when you realize that, oh, this thing is getting to her, you need to call her to order. You need to correct her in love. Because if you twist things and start a fracas, it won't end well. So I believe that if women are in a position of power, it is not all of them that act in that manner. Yeah. But most men are threatened.
We allow ego to set in, we allow pride to set in.
Okay, I'm talking of those who will allow ego to set in. Well, it's not all of them. That's why I don't like to generalize. But for people like that, you won't let that get into you, one. Then two, if you are a man, you have such a partner, you can correct her in love. Remember, we started this journey together. So you can correct her in love. That is just it. If not, it may not end well. But then you should be happy that you have such a woman rising to the corridors of power.
Yeah. So there is a way we can actually do it, so that the men will not feel, oh, because you are making more money, you are the famous one.
If the woman is making more money, how does that affect the ego of the man? Or we should get home and be
this Africa.
No, we should get home and be proud and say, hold now. No. So how?
Well, this conversation is ongoing, and until we see the change that we desire, we have to continue this conversation, particularly as we celebrate this year International Women's Day that has the theme Inspire Inclusion. That is our prayer. That is what we desire to have. More women occupying sensitive positions, more women in politics, in economy, oil and gas, engineering. Let's have more women. That is the major focus of this year International Women's Day. I wish we could continue this conversation in the studio this evening, but we have to go. I want to say a very big thank you to my guest on the show tonight for being part of the program. Thank you so much, Omolewa, for coming. It's been a wonderful time with you, I must say. And to my viewers, as women, let's make our voice heard. We've heard it all. Leadership skill, leadership spirit is needed if you really want to make your voice to be heard across globe. And don't see yourself as, oh, my space in the kitchen, my space is my only duty is just to procreate, bring up children. No. The world is going, is evolving, and we also have to move with the space. So thank you so much for being part of the show today. I'll see you again next week. By God's grace. Until then, it's goodbye for now.